How's it going there, guys? James here from Butler Farms is out here doing a thing. You know, it's take advantage of time when you have it. Can't get in the garden right now. You're going to hear in just a minute there's a lot of thunder and lightning going on. We just had a round come through and kind of in a hurry right now, but I wanted to show you what I was doing because we got a big severe thunderstorm headed our way. It's starting to rumble. The first little line of rain has come through, but it's nothing like what's getting ready to happen. So I'm not staying up here in this shop. I've ridden one tornado out up here, and I don't want to ride another tornado, another straight line wind event, nothing up here. I've been there, done that, got the scars to prove it. But got to do something with these onions. It's just so extremely hot. You hear the thunder? I like it out here, but I'm not going to stay for what's the grand finale that's getting ready to happen. So you saw me pull the onions, and I was curing them and those kind of things, but it's been so extremely hot, so extremely humid. I'm just done leaving them out here, guys. It's just I'm playing with fire as far as letting them go too long. Now if these were big onions, sweet onions usually don't last very long anyway when you try to save them, but if I had onions that were going to be long lasting, that I was going to save whole, put, you know, in cold storage somewhere, or, you know, some kind of climate control thing, I would have to let them cure some more. But where they are right now is perfect for what I do with them. Let me show you real quick what I got going on. Don't mind the junk boat. All right, so you've seen these, and you can see how extremely nasty they are. I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. Now, the ones that were over there in that little basket were my small ones that for some reason the tops were completely gone. Those are the ones that worried me most, simply because my experience is if they don't have tops, they've got a very, very limited shelf life, okay? Even the way that I do them. So these will be in the next round. You can see they got good tops on them. They're fine. And I'll do them hopefully tomorrow if I can get up home from work in time. But what I was going to show you is, like I said, I'm going to come over here because I don't need to get any more of that in my boat than I can. You can see, first of all, how nasty they are, but you can also see how papery that skin is, okay? Once it does that, it's ready. You know, it's done. Now, because they are so dirty, you know, I told you in the onion video that I do not wash my onions. Don't wash your onions. Leave them alone. You can brush the dirt off of them, but if you remember when I picked them, it was muddy. It wasn't just dirt, it was mud. It was wet. And what I didn't want to do is try to rub the dirt off of it and tear that papery protective skin off of it, so I left them alone. So what I'm doing is I'm taking them and I'm coming over here to my fancy processing center, which amounts to me leaning on this pole right here and cutting them. And you can see where I'm throwing the tops and the skins. Normally I would take that down to my compost pile, but again, it's raining now, it's thunder and lightning, and the main event's on the way. So I'm kind of staying under the cover right here, and I'm just throwing everything out on the ground. It's going to compost here. It may not end up in my garden like I wish it would, but at the same time, I mean, it's just feeding my grass. You can see this area of my yard needs some help anyway. All right, so then I come over here, and you can see that I've got this spaghetti strainer full of onions, okay? And you can also see that they are nasty, guys. There's no way around it. I tried. But when I try to knock most of the dirt off, obviously it gets all over my hands, and then I'm touching clean onions where it's getting on the onions. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to do something I don't like to do, which is wash these beforehand. And I'll just have to see when I get in the house if they'll wipe off or not. But more than likely I'm gonna have to wash them. I'm gonna have to take paper towels to them and dry them off as much as I can. It's really not that big a deal, because the way I do this, when I put these through my little cuber thing that dices them up for me, when I put them out on the pan like I do my blueberries, they stick together anyway. My blueberries stick together, but they stick together in a layer that when I'm putting them in the bag, I can break them apart with my hand before I put them in the bag. So it's really not that big a deal. What you don't want to do is just take a bunch of these diced onions and stuff them in a bag to freeze them. That's where you run into your problem, because then you're going to get a big chunk that you're going to have to take an ice pick to and poke holes all in your bag, whether it's blueberries, whether it's onions, whatever. Lay them out on a pan. It's going to create a very thin layer across that pan that's easy to crush up with your hands as you put them in the bag, and then they'll stay separated because they're already frozen. So that's pretty much it. You can see that I've got, guys, look how small that onion is. And I know some people out there going, why are you going to mess with onions that size? Well, let me tell you something I have figured out about onions this size. You know what onions this size taste like? Onion. So yeah, I'm going to set that right there on that little screen of my little dicer. I'm going to push that handle down, and I'm going to push it right on through there. And that's going to go in the bag just like that one will, and just like some of the other bigger ones over here will. Guys, it just tastes like onion. It's just an onion. And nope, I'm not going to waste them. I know in a lot of situations it would be something where people say it's just not worth my time, it's not worth my effort. Guys, everything we do around here is worth my effort. If it wasn't worth my effort, I wouldn't be doing it to begin with. So little, big, misshapen, doesn't matter. They're all getting ready to go in there. So I'm going to get this bowl or this strainer full here. Again, I'm going to have to probably rinse them off, and it just is what it is. I don't like doing that, but I don't have a choice because they are nasty, and I don't want that being all over my food when I cook. So I'm gonna leave it right there, guys. I'll see you inside in just a minute. I can hear it back here behind me. I'm getting ready to get out of here and get inside where it's safe, and we'll start processing these onions. I'll see you in just a minute. How's it going there, guys? James here from Butler Farms on a stormy afternoon. If you would have seen out that window about 10 minutes ago, man, we got hammered when that storm came through. You can see that I'm inside now, not out where I normally am, but you can see what I'm watching right there. So that's what we're dealing with right now, but the work never stops, because this gives me an opportunity to come in from what you just saw up there at the shop before the storms. I was able to get a bunch of it done before the storms, bring it down here, and now this is what I'm working on. I told you that all these onions are going in the freezer. Okay, so you know, we've got slicing onions that we use fresh. These I've got to get put up, as I told you, up at the shop before all of this mess came in. You know, I didn't want to wait anymore, because what was happening was it has been so hot and so humid that it really served no purpose to continue to let them sit up there. If I was going to store them, like I said, long-term whole, then yeah, I would have probably cured them some more. But as I showed you up there, the outside was, the skin on them was good and crispy, which means that, you know, they were ready. And so I just went ahead and cut the curing process short, because I'm not storing any of those little bitty things whole for the year. This is what's going to suit us as a family. So I just wanted to show you real quick. This is not rocket science here. It looks very similar to what I do with my blueberries. And guys, this is a no judgment zone here. You can see everything we got going on over here on the stove and everywhere else, and it just is what it is. This is the time of year where it is non-stop. So this will get cleaned up as soon as I get through here, but right now we're just we're in preservation mode. Got to get it done. So all those little onions that you saw me working up there that I showed you, I brought down here, had a whole spaghetti strainer full of them that I had peeled, and you can see we got some decent sized ones now. The biggest ones I have are still up there, as I showed you, simply because they still have enough of the tops on them that I'm not as worried about them. I went ahead and got these out because these are the ones that did not have the tops on them. Now, some are going to question, did you really keep that? Yeah, I did. Look at it. I mean, it's a perfect little onion, and they fit perfectly right there. And then I just simply take my little thing here and done, and you can see what we've got going on in there. Okay, it does all the work for me, and then you can see over here the result. And I'll spread these out like I do my blueberries. Now this is going to end up being thicker than what I would like it to be, so they are going to kind of freeze into a chunk. That is okay though, because when I take them off the pan, I can crush them as I put them in the bag. They'll separate out, they'll freeze separated because they're already frozen at that point, and it'll be so simple just to reach in the bag and grab whatever we need for as far as cooking and those kind of things. Okay, now one thing that I hated to do, you saw up there how extremely nasty those onions were, and I knew they were going to be. You know, and the dirt on them was dry. I tried everything I could to wipe them off and do those kind of things. However, my hands were dirty, the onions were dirty, everything was dirty. So these onions had dirt all over them from me handling them and stuff like that. It just is what it is. So you can see what I've done here. I've got a paper towel and I've changed this out several times. And you can see where I've cut the top and the bottom off so they sit flat. I had to wash them. I tried to wipe it off. You couldn't get all the dirt off them. I had to wash them. I didn't have a choice. They were just so extremely nasty. I don't like doing that because that's going to make this part even harder because they've got moisture in them. But they actually feel pretty good. So anyway, when I put them down on one side, then I come through with the paper towel and I dry them off with the other. And you know, they're not any more wet than the ones that I've worked with in the past that I didn't have that problem with. If you remember back to my video where I was pulling these, the ground was extremely wet because of all the rain we'd had, and I was having to get them out of there. So it's you know, it is what it is. They were nasty. I did not wash them when I pulled them. That's important because I did not want that wet sitting on the outside and all that heat and all that humidity causing mold. So I don't feel bad once I peeled them up there and brought them down here. Yes, I had to rinse them off just simply where my dirty hands were touching them, and you know, they're gonna be fine. Like I said, they're gonna freeze kind of solid anyway. They always do. They're gonna make a solid sheet of onions, and then I'll come through as I put them in the bag and I'll crunch them up and put them in there. Usually, and I'm not sure this time, I'm not gonna make any guarantees. Usually I can get about 3 quarts out of a pan like this, and I know for a fact that I've at least got 2 more times of this. So do the math on that. That's 9 quarts. And so if there's 4 quarts in a gallon, you're talking over 2 gallons of diced, organic, homegrown onions that were grown in a 4x8 space. I know onions are cheap at the store, guys, but you know, all food prices are going up for various reasons. But at the same time, the pleasure of knowing where those came from and that I grew them and that my family will enjoy them, it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it. And you know, onions are kind of a set it and forget it kind of thing. I put them out, I had to wring them a couple of times. When it was so dry, I had to put water to them that I had to tote down there, and I fertilized them twice where I ran that organic fertilizer down between the rows. Nothing to it, nothing to it. So I'll end up with well over 2 gallons of diced, organic, sweet onions that we can cook with all year. In another video, I had said I didn't think it would make it through the year. It might come close, actually, with the other organic onions that I had to buy from the store because we were completely out before these were ready. With those plus these, we might make it through the year. But if not, we don't. But that'll get us a long way. So guys, I'm going to keep paying attention to what you see up there as these storms keep rolling through. I'm going to get this pan done. Unfortunately, this will be all I'll have time for today, simply because, well, not time, this is all I'll have the room for today, simply because I don't have room but for one of these pans at a time, unless I take them up to the big freezers up the hill. But the freezer we have here in the house, with all the stuff we have in it, I can put one of these in the top of it. It'll sit there. When I get home from work tomorrow, I will do another pan of these. So it's really not that big a deal. I got the ones out first that I was the most worried about, so that's good. You know, even if I do another pan today, those are at least out of the way. The ones that are still up there, I'm not that worried about. As you saw, they'll be good for another several days, so I'm not really sweating those that much. But thank you for coming along on this little journey, and I'll definitely be growing onions again, because even though they're not the biggest in the world, they're mine and I love them. So onions make everything in the world better, in my opinion. So guys, I'm gonna leave it right there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that thumbs up button. Tell a friend what we're doing here and help us to continue to grow. And until next time, we love you. God bless you. This is James from Butler Farms, and we'll be seeing you.